Hey guys, hey. I know Easter is over, but I want to make this wreath anyway, so I figured I'd share it out with you all. So you can make this and then put it aside for next year, or you can make it and hang it up because we all need Jesus year round, so why not? It's spring and it's gonna look springy, hopefully, when I'm finished with it. So anyways, to make this wreath, you are going to need a wreath form. This is the foam one that is sold at the Dollar Tree. You are going to need some burlap. I believe I got this from Walmart. It's either Walmart or Michael's, but you can find this pretty much anywhere, even at on Amazon. You will need 3 of the wooden crosses. That you can find these at the Dollar Tree also. They have different designs of crosses. I liked this one. I thought that was the prettiest design. You will need some Waverly antiquing wax. You will also need some floral picks. Now I just picked these out of my stashes. I also am going to use one of these cleaning cloths when I use the antique wax on my crosses. You're also going to need some wire cutters for your floral picks. You'll need your glue gun and a paintbrush. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, as in any project when you have painting to be done, you want to go ahead and get the painting done first and set it aside and let it start to dry while you get your other things going. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and stain these crosses using the Waverly antiquing wax. I love this. It's water-based, and it looks just like a stain when you put it on, and it doesn't smell like a stain. So I can use this indoors. I am prone to migraines, so scents and smells actually really get to me. So this stuff has really been wonderful. So the way I use it is, you're going to want a good amount. Don't be afraid to really get a lot on there. Now you can paint it on just like a paint if you want full coverage. But to me, if you want full coverage, then why wouldn't you just go with a brown paint? But what I do is I paint on some, and then I take a rag and I wipe it off. And that way you get the wood grain coming through. And it is just like a stain. So you can see how pretty that looks. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cover the front, and I'm going to go ahead and probably just cover the backs and of course the sides of these, and I'm going to do that off camera because it would bore you if I did them all on camera, and I will be right back. I have all 3 of them stained with the Waverly antique wax, and I'm going to set all 3 of them aside to dry, but I just wanted to give you a couple of tips. Now when you're using this stuff to do the staining, what you're going to want to do is go in small areas. So paint some of it on, then use your rag or paper towel and wipe it off, and then do the next little section and so forth. The other thing I wanted to tell you, that side's prettier, isn't it? I think so. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to say was these crosses here, of course, they're meant to be hung, and they had the little jute twine in them, which I took out. But I took a little detailing brush and used that to cover the inside of the little holes on them. Now when you use these, you can cover them again. You can cover the little holes with different things, whatever you want, make it your own, or you can just leave them as is. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, if I'm going to cover them or what. You could also use a little bit of wood filler and fill that in and then stain it. Now I've not done that and used the Waverly, the antiquing wax over top of wood filler, so I don't know if that would work and it would blend in well. So if you've tried that before and it works or not, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to go wash my brushes off, and we're going to move on to the next step, which is wrapping the wreath in the burlap. We're going to go on, like I said, and wrap the wreath form in the burlap. Okay, so we have our wreath covered. There's the back. And now all we're going to have to do, and this is a pretty simple wreath, what you're going to do is, I'm trying to figure out, I haven't obviously made something like this before, and I don't know why there's red tinge. There's probably just got mixed up with some red ribbon, but that's easy to cover. So you want obviously one cross higher than the other two, and I'm thinking I might want to put the crosses on first. Now see, I'm gonna have to have something else for the center one to hold on to. So I'm gonna have to make sure that the bottom part of the cross is there, and then these two can be lower, because Jesus is elevated. He's always elevated over everything and everyone. I think I'm going to just use and then this is called greenery, but I love this stuff because it looks like the lamb's ear. And this did come from Walmart. This came from Dollar Tree. So it looks like lavender to me. I think I'm going to just use these, and I'm just going to put it like right there around the bottom. I wasn't planning on putting a bow on this because I knew I wanted to kind of keep it simple, and I wanted it to be focused on the crosses, but I might need a little bow or maybe one white flower in the middle. I might end up doing, oh look, I think I have one right here. I may end up doing something like that. But anyway, so I have these. I also have these flowers here. These are called spike. These came from the Dollar Tree as well. I wanted something, things that were long and skinny to be able to fit that way. So I may incorporate a couple of those as well, because I really like that white. I have blue, I have the white, and then I have the peach. But I like that white color. So I may end up doing a couple of sprigs of this and maybe one of that. I don't know. And then maybe a white flower in the middle. I might do a bow. We'll see. I'm going to play around with the placement of things, and then I'm going to come back before we glue it all down. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I have to confess something right now. I started playing around with this a little bit, and I got my floral configuration the way I wanted it, but it didn't look right to me. The crosses were just blending in too much into the burlap background, and I wanted the crosses to stand out a little bit, so I thought, well, I need to do something with them. I thought, well, I can add some flowers to the background, which I still could, but the crosses just needed something else. So I decided I went into my paint stash. This is a Art Minds brand chalk paint. It's called Smoked Pearl. And what I did is I just took a little detailing brush and I tried it on the back first, because I'm not an expert painter. I'm not great at painting things. So I did go on the back of the cross first, and all I did was kind of just brush on little bits, like so, like that. And then take my rag and just kind of wipe it, just to kind of smear it a little bit, give it a more weathered look. And then I didn't even like that as much. It still needed something, so I got my sandpaper out. And I've just started even just going back over. I don't even let the paint dry much. And make sure I get around the edges and sand that down too. So that's what I'm going back and doing, just to kind of give them a weathered look. They'll stand out a little more from the burlap that way. Of course, this middle one, I'm going to take a piece of white cloth and drape it around it. So this one is definitely, sorry, that was out of frame. This one is definitely going to pop more than the other two, which is good. That's what we want. So I may end up just leaving it with the weathered look on the crosses and the florals on the bottom, but we'll see. I'll come back and show you what else we're going to do in the next step. I've played with this and played with it and played with it, and I think I am finished. All I have to do is add my hanger. But I wanted to show it. So I've attached all 3 crosses. I started with the middle and attached that one at the top, and then I did allow for a tiny bit to be attached at the bottom. And I did actually add a little tiny bit of glue on each side just to stabilize it a little bit. Then I glued on the one on each side. Then I played with my flowers some, and I got those to where I liked them. And then you can look underneath and you can see the hot mess of hot glue. But I did stick the white flower in the center to cover up all of that, so you really can't see that anymore when you look right at it. All right, now then I used white felt. I looked for some white fabric, but I couldn't find any. I thought I had some, but I don't. So I wanted to go ahead and use what I had on hand. So I cut like a long strip of it and just kind of wove that around. I did use a little bit of hot glue in the center just to kind of make that stay down. And there you have it. So to make the hanger, there are a lot of different ways that you can hang this. You could use ribbon and loop it around and tie it. You could hang it that way. Now that's going to present a problem because the cross in the center is hung in the middle, and I hot glued it down. Now I guess you could pre-plan your hanger if you'd like to, and go ahead, and if you wanted to use ribbon to hang it, go ahead and loop your ribbon through before you glue down your middle cross. You could do that, but I didn't. Now I could pry it off, but yeah. Okay, so another way you can hang this wreath is to take a length of jute twine and just make a little knot in the end, and then hot glue that onto the back, and then that will hang it up for you. Okay, so you could take a piece of the nautical rope that they have at the Dollar Tree. You could do what you just did with what I just showed with the twine. Cut a loop of it, make a knot, and glue that onto the back and hang it like that. You could take, now I'm just playing with it now. You could take the nautical rope and, I don't know, wrap it around a couple times if you wanted some added depth. Like I said, I am just playing with it. I don't know. I like to do this kind of thing just to see what it looks like. You could wrap that around, maybe tie that down, and then tie a knot, you could tie that in a knot somehow, I don't know, make it longer. Maybe hot glue that down, and then tie this, cut it loose, and then tie it in a knot and use that as a hanger. I don't know, I kind of like that. I might end up doing that. But anyways, there are a lot of ways that you can hang it. You could just leave it like this and use a big wreath hanger with the large hook and just hang it just like that on a door. So there are plenty of ways to hang this wreath. I do hope that you enjoyed this project. Like I said, I know Easter's over, but you know, we all need Jesus and need to celebrate Jesus and remember Jesus and put him at the center of our lives every day of the year, not just on Easter. So if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up and be sure to share the video out on all your social media and make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell. And coming up tomorrow, I'm going to have part 2 of my testimony coming up. And I think I'm going to schedule that one as a premiere so I can be in the chat with everyone and talk with you guys while we watch. So make sure that bell is chosen and you choose all when you subscribe. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Bye. Keep being kind to each other because there's way too much meanness in this world.